Hello everyone. So we just got a beta for Bitwig 4.2 and they have added the note grid and they've added some new effects and stuff. So I just said I'd make a quick video just having a look at them because I haven't really used them at all. So I'm just going to have a quick first look at the new effects. I'll probably do something with the note grid separately because I suppose it sort of requires its own video. But I just wanted to have a little play around with these new effects. This isn't going to be like a full video like I normally do with effects where I go into detail because I haven't used these before. So I'm just going to check them out. It's going to be a bit of an unusual video. I'm going to use them probably pretty traditionally first. And then I'm just going to have a play around with them and see what sort of stuff they do. So first I've just brought in like a guitar. I just recorded a simple little guitar part here on the acoustic guitar. I just wanted to sort of hear the effects on something simple like this. So yeah, I'm going to play that and I'm just going to bring in these effects and just have a go with them. Start with the chorus. Wow, that sounds really good. It actually sounds a little bit better than I was expecting. So I think if I bring in F1 here, maybe it'll show me what these are modeled on. Oh yeah, so the CE here is a synth style. So maybe something from some sort of synth, maybe a Roland synth or something like that. And then we've got this 80s flavored DD one here. It's a lot more resonant. These sound really good. So the next one is an 8 voice. Okay, we're gonna have to bring that down significantly. Wow, that sounds really good. And these parameters kind of explain themselves here. Again, I'll make an in-depth video on each of these effects. I'm just kind of checking them out now. So that 8 voice one sounds really good. And then this X2, I'm assuming this is just 2 copies. It's like a doubler. So it's going to be a lot subtler. So you can get some pretty crazy characterful stuff with this, but you can also go pretty crazy with some of these as well. Especially this 8 voice one. That one goes absolutely crazy. But they all sound really different. They definitely all have their own character. They sound really good. So yeah, you can get pretty mental with them. Let's just compare these to the old chorus here. I'm going to do some synth stuff after. I'm just using it on the guitar just to kind of hear the character, the effect. So let's go for the old chorus here. So yeah, definitely, I mean, the old chorus sounds good, but it doesn't have the same, definitely doesn't have the same character that these do. So let's just set this up relatively subtly. Let's set it up with a pretty heavy mix there as well, just to hear. And then let's hear this new one. So much more character. This is so much more characterful than the old one. So let's just check out another couple and then let's have a look at them on some synth stuff. We can probably go a bit crazier with that. So we've also got a phaser plus here. So phaser plus. I'm just gonna put this on the guitar as well. Cool. Sounds great. Again, I'm gonna be doing pretty extreme settings here because I just kind of want to hear the character. So we've got a stereo. Cool. That sounds great. That's really stereo. this color here seems to be sort of where our center frequency is. Oh yeah, it even says center frequency down at the bottom. Wow, that's great. Really slow stereo stuff. And then what's this, a phase reverter? Oh no, this is alternate character, so this is a slightly different version of this. Wow, that sounds really good. Okay, so let's just keep these sort of settings and move through all of them. That sounds great. Let's just turn off the stereo. Yeah, these sound a lot better than the other ones, the previous ones that we had. Let's hear this MX. So what are these based on? Let's hit F1. Oh, we've got some extra stuff down here as well. So we can change the modulation curve and we can manually override it so we can modulate it ourselves. Very cool. So what are these based on? So we've got our spiky friend GS, and then classy and smooth. A raspy devil is MX. Let's test that. Oh yeah, definitely. And then the next one here is pleasantly greasy. Let's just tone that down a bit. Let's dial in a more subtle phaser sound. Let's turn that stereo back on. That sounds great. These models all sound really good. So we've got different modulation curves here. So traditional is like, I'm assuming basically all the poles are just traveling in one direction, I'm guessing. And then speaking, this is going to give us sort of a formant. So let's turn the feedback up so we can hear that. Oh yeah, you can definitely hear that speech. See, change our color. It sounds really good. Okay, so let's go for this MX. Really nice stereo sounds with these as well. Oh, that GS sounds really good with the vocal. You can really hear that yo 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 sound. So mess around with this color. Let's turn off the stereo. Cool. Okay, so then we've got Barber up and Barber down. So this is going to be like a swirling up motion. They all sound so different, but they all sound great. And then Barber down's going to be the same thing, but it's going to sort of trend downwards. It's great to have those extra modulation options as well. Okay, cool. So that's the phaser. Let's have a listen to the flanger now as well. So these are going to be really good for guitar. I'm going to make like a video where I go over these in total detail like I normally do. But I might do a separate video as well, just putting these on, you know, some guitar sounds, guitar amps, stuff like that. Because I actually think these will be very good guitar effects. And another thing I'm very interested in is to hear these on the reverb. Because I think these are going to make the reverb sound great. So let's just hear this flanger. Again, that sounds great. I'm just going to flick through these different modes quickly. That sounds great. They do have a lot of character, which is strange because the Bitwig effects generally are so flat and you kind of add the character yourself, but these have so much character built in. And then we've got an alternate version for each one, so really subtle, but definitely you can definitely hear a nice difference between those. So this MX, say they all sound great. And obviously we can still go pretty crazy with these effects as well. So even just used subtly, I mean, there's a lot of depth to these. Cool. Okay, so have we got any extra stuff in the inspector? Here we have. So what have we got? So we can add dirt. So this is going to make it a bit noisier. So some subtle grid added in there. They really do sound great. So let's bring down the depth there. And then again, we've got the manual override here. So, I mean, you could do pretty crazy stuff here with this. I mean, we could bring in some sort of a really fast LFO or something. Could even modulate it from something in the grid. These are actually available in the grid, which is very exciting. So let's just add our own LFO here. Let's make it super obvious what we're doing. And then obviously we can now take this into audio rate territory. So you can do pretty much whatever you want with these, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's the basics of the effects on the guitar. Let's try them on some synth now. So I've just got a really simple little thing here. So let's just pop them on and just see how they sound, because I think just the raw sound of these is great. That's brilliant. So let's get some reverb on this as well. I'm really interested to actually hear these on the reverb. So I'm just going to put them on the wet effects so it's more obvious. But let's just mess with this first. Slow the tempo right down here. Yeah, that sounds great. Let's hear it on, let's maybe make this a bit more of a plucky thing. And maybe I'll put an arpeggiator. Again, I'm going to do the note grid in its own video, because this video would be really long of me just messing around with stuff that I don't yet understand. So let's just mess around with some arpeggiator here, and let's just go up, down. I'm going to take the release off. Let's just hear that dry. So this is dry. There's a lot of depth to this. Anyway, I'm not going to spend all day on the chorus. The chorus sounds great. Let's bring in the phaser now, just to hear. I'll use that on sort of a longer sound as well. Oh, and maybe actually, do you know what I'll do? I'll put the I will put the chorus here on the reverb. Make a nice long reverb. And yeah, this is going to be great for adding a lot of depth to the reverb. Anyway, let's just hear this phaser as well on the synth. Let's use some of those different modulation options here. So I'm just going to go into F1 just so we can see it bigger here. So let's use the speaking one. I mean, that sounds absolutely great. So let's let's just use a longer sound here. I'm gonna take the arpeggiator off as well. Maybe let's put the flanger on the wet effects of this reverb. I think that might sound cool. So let's add the flanger plus on here. Sorry, on the tank effects here. I'm gonna mix this in pretty heavily. And let's try maybe one of these other ones. Garron, let's bring that color up. And of course, if you're doing single note stuff with these, I bet it sounds cool to, let's make the depth, let's make it static here. I'm just going to turn it up a little. Actually, do you know what? Let's do this in the grid. So let me open up a polygrid here. Polygrid. And let's just use a sawtooth oscillator. That's really loud. Sorry. Okay, so let's just use a sawtooth oscillator here. And I'm just going to pull the release down. So what would be cool, I bet, is these are now in delay and effects. So that's cool. So you can load these up. This is cool because this is one of the things I'm most excited about, because this shows me that they want to bring the effects into the grid. So I'm hoping a lot of these, I'm assuming they're going to do like a reverb plus and distortion plus and lots of cool things. And then we're going to be able to bring these into the grid and do all the grid stuff with them, which is pretty cool. Hopefully they add a sort of container that you can put VSTs and stuff in as well. That would be cool. It seems to me that like that might be the direction they're going, but who's to know? So now we can bring in our phaser plus here, and let's turn down the depth and bring that mix up. Probably don't want it to be stereo. And then bring feedback up. What's cool now is if we want to shape things with the phaser, I mean, you could do this with a bunch of stuff. You could do this with the reverb or whatever you want. But if we want to shape stuff, we could now take, say, let's just take a bunch of phaser pluses and change the character, bring the depth down, change the character or the setting here, and then use a... And then let's say we wanted to bring this into a probably just a sine wave oscillator as an FM. So let's modulate the phase here. And then we got So you can get loads of different characters with these, even just to sort of change the oscillator shapes. Let's see, what else have we got in here is the flanger. So let's mess with the flanger a bit. I'm going to bring down the depth here as well and just use it static. Anyway, lots of cool stuff you can do when you're putting effects in the chain. But one of the other things I wanted to explore is obviously we can... So if I attach this just to the output, we can obviously take this parameter here and we can do it with audio, right? So we could take, say, our... Let's just take another oscillator, like a sine wave. And let's use that to modulate the color. So I'm just going to use a modulator out here to do that. And I'm going to attach that. Maybe a bit more. Let's bring the pitch down a lot. I'm gonna use a different... That's a bit too harsh now. That's what I was after, so... Forgive me, this is my first time using these, so I'm liable to do stupid stuff while I'm trying to figure it out. So now, sort of pitch this oscillator. Do weird things to the phaser. Let's try it with the flanger to see if we can get some weird stereo effects going on. So maybe even the chorus. So there we go. That's sort of the weird stuff I was looking for. Now if I offset these pitches. Oh. anyway, this has been me doing pointless stuff. I gotta do it with the chorus. I gotta try it with the chorus. So let's try maybe and modulate the time with another oscillator. This is how I figure out when I'm doing my effects videos. This is how I figure out what things do. Is I just try a lot of stuff that probably isn't gonna work or sound good and just see how it sounds. So let's mess with this chorus timer. Probably going to be pretty subtle, but I'm messing with the feedback. That's pointless. So let's turn the feedback way up. Okay, that's totally pointless. Maybe I can modulate through the different settings. Let's do it significantly slower than that. Okay, completely pointless. But anyway, it's cool that you can mess around with these effects in the grid. I hope they bring in like a reverb and stuff that we can modulate the size of and stuff over time. But yeah, that's been me messing around aimlessly with the new effects. I think they're pretty sick. So yeah, I'm going to look at the other stuff, like the note grid and stuff in a different video. But I was just very excited when I seen these, so I wanted to hear what they sounded like. So I said I'd make a quick video messing with them. If you like the video, subscribe and give it a like. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you very much. Especially my wonderful patrons. Thank you so much for being a patron.